So, as we know, Donald Trump decided to bomb the nuclear sites of Iran over the weekend. And, well, loads of world leaders were coming out either in support or in criticism of Trump. But where was the Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, ladies and gentlemen? Nowhere to be seen or heard from over the weekend. A massive event that could spark global, I'm talking about global ramifications, and Australia's leader was nowhere to be seen or heard from. And, ladies and gentlemen, what was his excuse for not saying a damn thing to reassure the Australian people to actually come out in either support for our ally, the US, or defend Iran? What do you think Albanese's excuse was, ladies and gentlemen? You'll be utterly amazed at what Anthony Albanese's silence over the weekend was all about. Of all the times that Anthony Albanese decided to remain silent and do nothing on the weekend, it's not like he does a lot anyway, but he did even less on the weekend. Get this, ladies and gentlemen. It was Anthony Albanese's right to disconnect over the weekend. A 2GB listener quipped that Anthony Albanese had been silent because he was just using his right to disconnect, which is a law, by the way, that Anthony Albanese himself and his government introduced last year that allows employees to refuse work-related contact outside of their working hours. And do you really think that Anthony Albanese was exercising his right to disconnect? Well, possibly, because no one could contact him. And this is a major, groundbreaking world event. And guess what? Not even the media could get a peep out of Anthony Albanese. So what do you think the Prime Minister was doing? This comes at a very, very volatile time. And yet, where is Australia's Prime Minister? Where is the leader? You can't hear from him. You can't see him. He's nowhere to be seen or heard from. Oh, it's the weekend, so I'll wait till Monday. I'll wait till Monday to address everybody on matters that happened yesterday and the day before. It's not that important. Don't worry about it. We've had a few people, Jackie Lambie, for example, she's had her say. She needs a mental health check quite considerably. We've got quite a few politicians that have had their say over on X, and it doesn't seem like it's good for Australia. It seems like we've got a lot of homegrown terrorists, especially in our parliament. Unbelievable. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, our fearless Prime Minister, the Spanish weasel, Anthony Albanese, couldn't hear from him. Why? Because Anthony Albanese had obviously much more important things to do than worry about the ramifications of the Iran oil being stopped because Iran decided to close a certain section where oil gets out. Iranian retaliation. Also, people in Hyde Park were chanting death to Israel. Anthony Albanese, Australia's leader that was voted in, unfortunately, yet again, nowhere to be heard from, nowhere to be seen, especially when it comes down to a very important matter like this. Our former Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, even said something, and he slammed Anthony Albanese, saying, this is not a time for you to go radio silent. Even though you're afraid of Trump and what Trump has done, this is not the time at all. If you can't handle a single conflict like this, maybe you shouldn't be Prime Minister. Anyone ever thought of that? Maybe? So spineless, so weak, showing the entire world that Australia's stance. Silence, or Canberra's silence, will ring out loudly in Washington. Anthony Albanese couldn't even pick up the phone and congratulate President Trump on his decision to bomb the Iranian nuclear sites. No, can't even do that. I'm going to avoid the matter entirely. What in the world could Anthony Albanese's excuse possibly have been that the Australian people are left wondering, where is our leader? Gee, I wonder too. Our government is an embarrassment. It has no moral compass. It has no regard for the security alliance, which is our only hope. Here is something interesting. Australia has the AUKUS deal with the US and the UK. 3 countries all coming together. Yeah, it's just the US, the UK, and Australia. And yet, when it matters most, when an actual military engagement happened, Anthony Albanese was nowhere to be found. And is it any wonder why he was snubbed at a G20 summit? And ladies and gentlemen, the UK Prime Minister, while I don't like him at all, he came out in support of Trump and what Trump did. And by the way, Trump found time for Keir Starmer. So, ladies and gentlemen, who is more spineless as a leader, Keir Starmer or Anthony Albanese? Seems like it's Anthony Albanese, because when it matters most, he's nowhere to be found. Absolutely unacceptable behavior from our Prime Minister. What kind of a Prime Minister is he? I know, a weak coward. Seriously, he talks a big game sometimes, but he's absolutely spineless and weak. It is despicable, especially when it comes down to the possibility of World War III occurring. Nah, can't address the nation. I'll do it on Monday. Monday's when I get back to work. Mate, when you took the job that pays you $620,000, you gave yourself an extra $15,000 pay increase along with your ministers. Penny Wong even came out and said something. But you? No. Penny Wong's not our leader. God forbid that she ever becomes our leader. You're bad enough, Albo. But seriously, you've got people in your cabinet that said something, but you, the leader of the nation, nothing. $620,000 a year on the taxpayers' dime, and yet you can't even lead the country properly. No excuse for it. Absolutely no excuse. It is disgusting behavior from someone that's, unfortunately, was elected to be our commander-in-chief, right? Trump works around the clock. The guy barely gets any sleep, and he's older than Albo. So what's Albo's excuse? And you're trying to show the American people, hey, we've got an actual military nuclear deal. But can't even support. I don't even think Trump cares, to be honest, about Australia. I really don't think he cares. But it would have been great. It really would have been. And I hope Trump rips Albo a new one. Where were you, Albanese? When I bombed Iran's nuclear sites, where were you congratulating me? That sure rings out as, hey, I'm on your side, I'm your ally, except nothing. This will have detrimental effects. I can no doubt see that on our relationship with the US. Thanks, Albo. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.